Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Linda Sue Plants for You. If you are a continuous follower of my YouTube channel, I just want to take a moment to thank you and thank all of you who have taken time to make comments. I know people have very busy lives today, and I know sometimes we think things, but we don't take the time to actually put them in writing. So I just wanted to thank those of you that actually do that and let you know that I do appreciate it very much. Today we're going to talk about my begonias, and we're going to do a little repotting or potting. The one that you're looking at right now is a Rex Begonia, and for those of you that have been following me, you will see that there is quite a difference between today and the last time I filmed her. And the reason is because I had her on a stand and I was watering my plants, and I backed up into her and knocked her on the floor, and she landed on top of her whole the whole plant here. So when I turned around, I was just sick. I thought for sure that it would be a real mess and that all of these shoots would be broken. And actually I did lose quite a bit, but I still have a lot left, and she's doing just fine. I mean, the color in her is just phenomenal. And on top of that, we have a flower, and if you can see this, this was one of the stems that got broken. In fact, it's about to fall off, but it flowered in spite of it. So she's, oh, and there it goes. She's a very hardy plant, and I haven't had any trouble with her at all prior to me knocking her on the floor. But when I did that, I also broke the pot. I had her in a clay pot, terracotta, and it broke into a zillion pieces. So the only pot I had that was the size I needed at the time was this plastic one. My begonias do not like plastic pots. I have realized that over the years, and this one especially. So I was looking for so long for the size pots that I needed for all of my begonias, because I want to repot some of them, and I want to plant up the few that I have here from Suzette, from Suzette's Gardens. She has a YouTube channel as well, and her and I did a plant swap a while ago, and she was kind enough to send me these begonias, and they have rooted, and so I'm going to be putting these in pots today as well. This is one of them. So I have a lot of work cut out for me, although I do not want to make another 45-minute video. I know that some of you have commented that you really like the long videos, and myself, I love long videos too, because when I do have the time to sit down and just watch them, I really enjoy them. So I'm grateful that there are some people who enjoy that. But for today, for our purposes, I really just want to show you how I'm going to repot these. We're going to do a few of them, and then I'm going to show you in the end the table that I have them on in my begonia corner. So getting started, I'm going to start with this big one here. And again, for those of you who've been following me, you know that I've been looking for a long time for terracotta pots, and I don't know what is going on, but they're becoming harder and harder to find in bulk, and the size that I wanted is not exactly what I got. I needed one a little bit bigger than this, but this is the best that I could come up with. There is one I have that's a little wider, but it's very deep, and we don't want that. So one of the things that happens when you have too deep a pot and not enough roots is you have a lot of soil And when you water, if you're not careful and all that soil is wet, it will rot the roots of your plant. The plant itself is only going to take up so much water. And when it's done drinking, it's done drinking. So if there's still a lot of moisture in the soil, that's what will cause it to rot, because it has nowhere to go. And with begonias, at least with mine, I have found that underwatering is far, far better than overwatering. And this begonia actually will let you know when it's thirsty. Like it is right now, the leaves will start to droop down. I don't know if you can see that there. Once I water this, after I repot it and water it, the leaves will stand up again. So that's how I know when my plant is thirsty. Now I know that there's a couple different schools of thought when you repot begonias as well. And one of them that I hear or see very often is they tell you to moisten the soil before you put the plant in the pot. That is something that I don't do, only because I want to water after I get it in there so that I know if I need to add any more soil. And that soil will settle quite a bit, especially in this size pot. And I don't often have the time to get back to it, the very next day to make sure that it's where it's supposed to be. So I like to make sure that the soil, and it will even, after a few waterings, it's going to, the soil level will go down a little more and a little more over time. But I don't want the roots to be exposed, so I want to make sure that I have enough soil in there the first time that I put it in that new pot. Okay, so let's get started. This has not been in here very long. As I said, I just put this in here to get it into something when I knocked it over, and while I was trying to locate a pot that was a good size. So I'm going to put a little soil in the bottom of my pot, and my soil mixture it's a potting mix that I get at Stein's Garden Center. I use all different brands. I'm not fussy about what brand I use. I use Black Gold. I use Miracle Grow. So there's several others that I use too. And like I said, I'm not really fussy about that. What's more important is the texture of that soil when I open it. And I don't like soil that comes with those little blue or green fertilizing beads, because I want to control the fertilizing of my plants. I don't like slow release fertilizers of any sort. And I know some people use them very successfully, and to each his own on that, but for me that's not my first choice. So what I have here is the soil mix. I have some orchid bark. I have charcoal. I have added perlite, and I have cocoa coir, and I will be top dressing everything with a little bit of worm castings when I'm all done. So if I don't remember to do that on camera, I want to remember to tell you that. It just gives it a little extra boost. Okay, so I'm going to try to get this out of here now. And I'm hoping that we don't have any more. See, you can see right here, this was another one that was affected. And we're going to have to cut that off. Oh, it fell off. And I'm not worrying about reusing the soil, because I just did this about I don't think it's even been 2 weeks since I potted this in here, so I'm okay with reusing the soil. For those of you that know me, you know that that's something I really, really don't like doing. But in this case, I'm okay with it. Now, as you can see, there's still quite a bit of room and quite a bit of soil in this pot. This was actually a little bit big for this plant. My experience has been that begonias really like to be a little snug in the pot. They don't like to be over potted. And we're going to talk about that when I do these other, when I plant up the other ones. I thought that we were ready for this size pot, which is what I couldn't find. And this is, the fact that I couldn't find this size pot is what kept me from repotting my begonias for so long. And now I'm realizing that these might even be too big for what I need them for. So I'm not sure how far I'm going to get today with this, but I do have a few smaller pots, so I'm going to do what I can, and you'll get the gist of it anyways, and we'll just go from there. Okay, so I'm going to take this out of the way. And as you can see, I've already put some in the bottom here. And there's a pretty big hole on the bottom. Sometimes I put something in there, not always, and it's kind of if I remember to do it or not. I know some people like to put screening in there so the soil doesn't fall through the hole, but you know, I have found that after a while the soil kind of compacts itself down there anyway, and if you have a tray under it, it's fine. And if you lose a little speck of soil under there, it's really not a huge deal. Okay, this is a little high. I want to get this kind of down in there so that when I water it, the water doesn't drip over the sides. There, that's much better. Okay, and then we're just going to backfill along the sides, being careful not to press down too hard. For one, because you don't want to just break your roots, and for the other, when you have bark in there, sometimes if you press down too hard and a piece gets under your fingernail, that's really smarts. So protect your hands and protect your baby. I really, really love begonias. I know some people think that they're very fussy, and I guess they can be. I haven't experienced that. I think the thing that I could suggest, if you're really in love with begonias and you really want to make it work, is just try experimenting. You know, get a small one and move it around in your house, but not every couple days, maybe every couple weeks. If you put it in a window and it's reacting negatively, you know, if the edges of the leaves are crisping up, then it's probably getting too bright of sun. Now my begonias are in a corner of the room that has a south and an east window. They don't really get much light from the south at all at this time of year, because there's a tree on the south side of our house and it doesn't allow much light. However, it does get very, very intense light from about 5:45, 6 o'clock a.m. until about noon, 1 o'clock. So that's quite a few hours of direct sunlight on this plant. And I have not had any problems with burning leaves. Now that light is coming from the east. So I'm not sure how that compares to the, you know, type of light that you have in your home, but that's what's working for me. And all of my begonias are doing very well, and they're all together in that corner. And I can tell you that I did move this big plant, the one I'm working on right now. I had it in the middle of my table, my begonia table, and I wanted to make more room. This was taking up too much room, and I wanted to move the ones from the bottom of the table up to the top. So I moved this plant over about maybe 4 feet, and I put it on a different table, and it did not get that full sun in the morning, and I started having problems with it. So just that little bit of difference in that sun I noticed within a few days. So that's why I say, if you're having trouble, you know, don't be afraid to move it around and experiment. And again, I think the key to this is very good draining soil. They like to be watered often. I should say they like a good drink of water when you water them, but they don't like to have wet feet. So you don't want to have them sitting in a plastic pot for days with wet soil around the roots. That will kill them. At least in my experience, that has caused problems. I see there's a dead leaf under there. Okay, so I think this guy is good to go. I'm going to water all these when I'm done. And we'll come back and visit this another day, but when I'm all done here, then I will show you my begonia corner at the end of the video. Okay. And by the way, these Rex begonias can be propagated by leaf too. I don't know if you are aware of that, but you can take a leaf and where you see these veins, those are all ways to propagate. You can cut it this way, and then chop it this way and put pieces in, and maybe someday I'll do a video on that. But Rex begonias are really easy to propagate, and iron cross begonias are real easy to propagate that way too. So if you propagate some, then that will give you plenty to experiment with until you find that perfect spot for your begonia. Okay. This one is one of the plants that I received in my plant swap from Suzette, and it did look much better from the plant that she has at her home. But these plants came through when it was so ridiculously hot out, and we were both a little worried about how they were gonna show up here. This one is a little worse for wear, but it's fine. It's gonna be fine. There's all kinds of new growth, new shoots coming. Now this one has only got a little tiny roots on it. I don't know if you can see that. But I am going to plant this up anyway. I do believe that I can root this in soil just as well as in water. And she's been in here so long, and that's all I got. So I'm really thinking I need to put her in soil. I hope I'm doing the right thing. If not, I guess we'll find out. But this one we're going to put in soil. This one has got huge roots. And just look at the color on that. Isn't that pretty? Gorgeous. And she's got the mother plant of this one is huge, and it's really pretty. I think I'm not sure if she still has it in her greenhouse or not, but she did have. I'm trying to show you the new growth that's coming right here. And there's another one on this stem. Hopefully you can see that. Alright, so being careful not to overpot this. I have 2 different sizes here, but I think I'm going to use this one. Yep, because that's actually almost even a little too big, but we're gonna put that in there. I'll put a little bit in the bottom. Something very relaxing about potting plants. And I think I've said this before, but I really love the feeling of the soil on my hands. There's just something very relaxing about it. Kind of soothing to the soul. Okay, that'll be it for that. Oh, see, she wants to come out. And this is really where using the wet soil does come in handy, because it will hold that in there better. But I really try not to do that, so I'm going to try and just get it down a little further in the dirt. There we go. And we will give her a really good drink when we're done. And we'll let her sit for a few minutes, and then if there's any standing water in that tray, of course we will dump that out. So that's one. Isn't she cute? And I like the little pot. Alright, so we'll secure that a little better when we put the water in that pot. And then we've got these too, and these are also from Suzette. And these did a little better as far as keeping the foliage, but this one too could use some more roots. But I'm going to put these in soil anyway, because I think they'll be fine. And for me, they're easier to take care of when they're in soil than when they're in water. I know that's not the case for some people, but we do have roots on them, so I think they'll be okay. And then this one has roots. This is a different type of begonia. And this one I wasn't sure was going to make it. It was pretty damaged when I pulled it out of the box when I got it through no fault of the sender. She had everything wrapped very nicely, but like I said, the weather really played a part in the condition of this. When I got it, it was all wilted and it was very difficult for me to pull out, and I think I probably broke this when I was trying to get it untangled and what have you. But so I'm going to probably just pull this off because it's not serving any purpose and it's just barely hanging on there. but we still have, in fact, I'm going to cut that. And just so you know, prior to doing this, I sterilized my scissors with alcohol and water, and I dried it with a paper towel. So just to make sure. And you have to be careful with that too, by the way, when you sterilize your scissors or your cutting tool. If you don't dry it off and it still has the wet alcohol on, now I have never experienced this, but I had heard at least twice now that there are plants that are very sensitive, that if you cut them with that wet alcohol on there, that it can cause damage to the plant. And again, this is just something that I heard. I don't know if that's true or not, but I thought, well, I don't want to take a chance of that happening, so I am drying it off before I do that now. Okay, let's get her in. And I think because these are long, I'm going to use the taller pot. I think that would be a good fit. And the roots actually go way up the sides of this. They're way up to here. So I think we're safe to plant her up that far. Normally I don't like to go up that far because I'm afraid that I'm going to rot these, but I think in this case we're going to be okay. So I'm going to put a little bit of soil in the bottom. And we're going to put that in there. We've had some really nice weather here the last couple days. The temperatures have been in the mid to upper 70s, and the dew point has been down in the 40s, which is unheard of at this time of year in our state of Wisconsin. Dew point and the humidity very, very low. So that has given us some nice dry weather, which is what I like. And that also helps to keep down on our mosquito population. And for those of you who will have seen my spring video, or early summer, it was almost impossible for me to film the way I wanted to outside because the mosquitoes were just attacking me by the hundreds. It was really horrendous. And I know that that has been the case around the country actually this year, so we weren't alone in that. So I'm hoping this dry weather has taken care of some of that. There. Isn't she beautiful? Oh, I love this begonia. I got a little bit of drying going on the end of this leaf, and I may end up cutting that off just because I have a new shoot coming behind it, and I think I would like the energy to go to that instead of trying to keep that leaf alive, but I'm not sure yet because it's not the whole leaf. So I'll decide later what I'm going to do with that. I'm not sure if I want to cut that or not. Kind of like the way it just looks right now, and you know, it's not perfect, but then neither are we, right? Life is not perfect. Okay, I really, really love the way that turned out. Okay. And this one, I'm really not too sure. I'm at a loss as to what to do with this. I think I need to put it in soil, but something's telling me maybe I should leave it in water for a little while, but I don't know. Like I said, it's got a lot of new growth coming, but it's not, doesn't seem to want to grow roots. I mean, there's a couple on there. Yeah, well, you know what? I really don't have a tiny pot, which is what I think this needs. This is the smallest one I've got right now. And I'm not sure that that's a good idea. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this water. And I'm going to stick this back in the rooting powder, the rooting hormone, and put it back in fresh water and give it a little more time. And if I don't see anything happening, then at that point I guess I'll put it in soil and we'll see what happens. I think that's what I should do. And if you guys have any suggestions for me, please feel free to leave them in the comments, because like I say in almost every video, I've been raising plants my whole life, but it doesn't make me an expert, and I very much welcome other people's thoughts and opinions, and especially if they're, you know, helpful, and as we all should, right? Alright, so I think that is what I'm going to do. And in the interest of keeping this on the short side today, well, you know what? I've got another little one here that I do want to pot up. I forgot about him. He's got a good root system, but this pot is too big. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go search and see if I can't find another tiny terracotta for this guy. And then I'm going to finish potting up the rest of my begonias, and when I get all done, I will show you the end result. I also have some coleus that need to be potted up in a bigger pot as well, that I keep on the same table. So I think I'll do that too, and then you'll all get to see the end result. Okay. I want to thank you all for watching my videos, and thank you to those who take the time to support my channel. And as always, if you haven't subscribed, you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button. And if you want to be notified when I put up a new video, please hit the bell, notification bell. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. And if you have any other ideas of things that you would like me to do, or if you'd like to let me know, do you prefer long videos or shorter videos? I'm here to help bring information and to share my love of plants with others. So I want to do things to help you, and if you have suggestions, please let me know, okay? Alright, that should do it for today. I will be back in a little while to show you the end result after they are potted up. Thank you all. Have a good day. Okay, everybody, I am back. This is the end result of my begonia repotting, and I promised you all I would finish up today and take a picture of the finished product, so here it is. Starting up here, my hanging begonia. I did not have to repot that one, however, but that's the top. And then working my way down, we've got there's an angel wing. And I don't even know what the names of all of these are. but I absolutely love begonias. And these are the ones that I repotted, or that I rooted rather, that I got from Suzette in our plant swap. Beautiful. Thank you, Suzette. Love, love, love it. And this was also from Suzette, and I have to tell you folks, I'm looking through the lens of the camera and it just really doesn't do these plants justice. They're even more beautiful in person. This one. All doing well. And this is the one I wasn't sure if I was going to put in soil, but I did decide to go ahead and do that. I know in the first part of the video I did say that I was going to continue to root it in water, but I decided to put a little rooting powder on it and put it in soil because it's got so much growth coming on. I think it'll be okay. So I'll update you on that later, but I think it's going to do fine. And then I have these two. The fuzzy leaves. They're so soft. They're hairy. I think you can see that. That one and this one. And again, I'm not sure what the botanical names are for all of these, and maybe someday when I have a chance I will look them all up and mark them and do an update and put the names on the screens. But for now, it's my hope that you'll all just enjoy looking at the plants and sharing my passion with me. And then this, of course, is my big one. This is the one that I knocked on the floor, and she's doing very well. Her color is actually much deeper and darker green than what it's showing up on this camera. It's almost a forest green. Maybe you can see it there. It's even darker than what I'm seeing on my camera lens. But they are beautiful. Very healthy. And I think she's going to be okay. No, and I'm pretty sure she's going to be okay. So that's my update on my begonia corner, folks. Stay tuned for the next video. It should be coming up shortly, and I'm not going to tell you what it is. It's going to be a surprise, but in the meantime, I hope you all have a safe and fun weekend. And if I don't talk to you before Monday, I will have a good weekend too. Try and relax and enjoy life and take time to relax. Okay, that'll be it for me. Thank you. Bye now.